PATHOS. It is one of the methods of persuasion that doesn't really get that much attention when you're starting with competitive debating or argumentation in general. Let's talk about persuasion methods first. Logos, it deals with logic, which is pretty much common with everyone who is practicing argumentation. Ethos deals with the character of the speaker, whether they themselves practice what they preach. And pathos deals with the emotions or values of an individual or a community. Now, in competitive debating, we don't really talk about the credibility or the ethos part. Outside of competitions, I believe that if your actions are not significantly contradicting to what you say, that is probably enough, and that would take care of the ethos part for you. Now, when it comes to argumentation, people believe that logic in and of itself is enough. This is what I thought for a long time too while debating, and it's probably what you think as well. Now, this is a pretty wrong notion. You cannot just downplay the role of emotions, and if you ignore someone's values, you might not see ahead the argument the opponent's gonna hit you with. Let me show it to you. Now, consider this issue. We have to deal with the slum and keep everyone happy. To the right is a normal person with ample space. Let's say that's you, the normal one with the ample space. Now, an immediate argument you might present is that the slum is poorly planned, the space is very low, and the quality of living is overall very bad because of this. Sure, it sounds reasonable, but let's take this one step further. Consider a filthy rich individual who has a lot of space, much more than you do, and much more than the person living in a so-called slum. Now let's take you and this gazillionaire, and whatever you said, this filthy rich individual could also say about you. Let's say there's some rich person, he's looking down upon your house, and he's saying, well, your house should be broken down because the space is less and the quality of living that you're getting is very low. That you in your own home have no planning whatsoever as compared to this filthy rich individual, obviously. And so your house should be broken down and rebuilt. Now, this argument is now seen as served. A lot absurd to you than you might think otherwise. So, this is a perspective that you might want when talking about debating, and this is why pathos is important. So, when you take yourself into the shoes of the person living in the slum, you might see where your argumentation might be going wrong. And now, considering that I've put you in a favorable state of mind, you can also put your audience in a favorable state of mind by practicing pathos. You can make your audience feel connected with those who are really affected by the issue. Now, you should not be overusing emotion and downplaying logic. You shouldn't be doing the reverse either. Instead, they actually should go hand in hand. Both of them should be complementing each other. And the ways that you can go very wrong when you're talking about emotions is that you might accidentally trigger someone, your speech might be overly emotional, and you might use a logical fallacy. In competitive debating, that will make you score less. So try not to do these things. And in actual, what you should be doing is, you should be talking a variety of emotional appeals. I've just used one. That is putting you into the shoes of the person who is living in an actual slum. And then try to complement your argument with an actual logical argument. If you're using both logic and emotion, the arguments with emotion will act as a catalyst to your logical argument. So those of both really go hand in hand. And that's it. So try practicing a lot more of the arguments based on emotions and values and not just on logic.